Tonight's reading is a collective energy read, energy checkup for the Divine Masculine and where he's at. I went ahead and shuffled and spread the cards in the essence of time. And what we got here is that the Divine Masculine is in a place of needing to liberate himself. Okay, I'm going to do a summary, and then I'll go ahead and go card by card. The first card that I pulled regarding the Divine Masculine, basically, is he is in conflict. He is in petty battles with those around him and within himself. There is the sense that, there's something that he needs to end, but he's fighting it. And that relationship he needs to end is with the Karmic. The Karmic came out as the Queen of Swords. And as long as Masculine is on the same page as her and she's benefiting, then she is all for him. However, there are lessons that she's refusing to learn as well. She's just like being in her ego and refusing to learn. And for this reason, Divine Masculine, this is for a collective of masculines that are likely married or committed, but also he is thinking about and aware of his Divine Feminine as she came out in the read and is desiring to move towards her. He looks at it as a battle that he's going to have to ride into, almost with a soldier mentality. He feels a lot of passion for the feminine and a lot of passion for getting away from the Karmic, but at the same time, there is, this remaining mental conflict about his own liberation. The difficulty trying to decide if he should stay or if he should go. Although he does see the Divine Feminine as, nurturing, lovely, sensitive person and feels a psychic connection or telepathic connection with her, it's still some blockages that need to overcome, mostly mental. But regardless, he has seen the light. They both have. It's just a matter of whether or not they're going to... the Karmic and the Divine Masculine are going to have the guts enough to do the right thing and learn their lessons from this situation, because their time together is over. The cycle has ended. They've fulfilled and completed their soul contract, and the wake-up call is here that they need to realize what they've learned, and they need to forget about the rest. They need to, make a judgment about the situation so they can begin new lives apart. Even if this is going to rock their foundation, and it will financially and home-wise, they're going to have to move apart, etc., and it's going to hurt the money situation. This is the only way that the masculine can come back in touch with his feminine. And he really feels not good enough for the feminine. He really does feel like he wants to communicate, but he doesn't know how. He's not feeling good enough, and at this time it's understandable why. Because he's still with the Karmic and he can't let her go, or doesn't want to, is afraid, is conflicted, others around him are pressuring him. She is not learning her lesson. She sees it's time to move on, but is like trying to avoid, is stuck in her ego as well. And the outcome was that he is going to leave, but it's going to take some time. And when he does come forth to the feminine, if it's shortly after he leaves the Karmic, he is not to be trusted, because he's still going to be in his mixed up energy, dreamy, unfocused, unreliable. But with little by little, with persistence, and as feminines are used to doing, being patient, then the seeds planted for the divine relationship will begin to blossom. But this is not going to occur until the masculine feels that his money has gotten better after the ending with the Karmic, especially if it's a marriage and it messed up his money. And it's also he's not going to be able to collaborate in a mature way until he gets out of his ego space of wanting to win at any cost. And even though his attitude is hurting himself and the people around him and slowing things down, he's still in that ego energy. So little by little, he's coming to realization that only through fair collaboration with everyone in his life, including the Karmic, but especially with the feminine, can he move forward and get to where he wants to be. And he is advised to not be codependent or in fear about being alone and single and about losing his money or thinking that he needs the karmic in order to be stable, in order to have the luxuries and the things he's accustomed to. He really can be in his power. He does have what it takes. Yes, the money situation is going to be hard after the split up divorce from the karmic, but the Ace of Pentacles says that the divine has got his back. The divine is behind current circumstances and is going to help correct his money situation. In order for him to do that, he needs to have faith in the divine, which if he's not spiritual might be a little tough for him, but that's what's going to be required. And he needs to strategize and take what he can get from the situation, take the lessons that he can get from the situation, from the fallout from the relationship with the karmic, and move forward. Even if he has to be a little bit sneaky or manipulative, he is actually advised to do that to get his money back right and to be able to manifest what's coming in from the universe regarding a new beginning in the 3D with the physical, material, and financial new beginning. So that's the summary of the reading. The first card that I pulled, which is also a great summary for the rest of the reading, was this from the Fairy Tale Oracle, the Rapunzel Liberation card. And it is a really great card. He needs to be liberated, and it's up to him whether he needs, how he's going to do that. That his tower moment will be self-made, and that it talks about him feeling trapped and isolated and hidden from the rest of the world, and that he's accepted this for a long time. And he's come to a new awareness that there's life outside his tower walls and that he shielded himself to be safe. But the safety has turned into a prison. And yeah, he may not feel that he has the free will to make choices, but he does. And the tower will only crumble when he makes a decision to have enough strength and resolve to free himself and know that he can leave, he can free himself, and he can stop holding on. And that it's going to be worth the risk to have that freedom and all the unknown possibilities that come with it. But he's done this basically to protect himself, and so it's a huge wall that he's built by staying in this karmic relationship, basically. But he's developed the desire in time to explore the outside world or what's beyond those walls. Even though his life is safe, it's become a prison, and others have been very, limited in their ability to influence him about his current circumstances. But there is one powerful person that can influence him, and that's his feminine. And through his connection with her, even if there are no contact, fresh ideas and inputs will come to him that will help him to liberate himself and see the world again. But it's really up to him. So it's all a card about escape and relief and liberation from imprisonment, cutting through the heavy thoughts and the negative thinking patterns. That he changes within his ability to create, and fate will intervene, but he must be ready. A time of waiting is complete, and freedom from heavy thoughts and a new perspective. So that was the first card I pulled, and it set the tone for the rest of the reading. And then as we see, the rest of the reading came out the way that it did. So I tried to pull the Romance Angels card, but nothing wanted to come out, so I'll pull others. But we have an opportunity. So this is saying, he liberates himself. There's a golden opportunity there. We already saw that he's advised to be to have faith and to strategize about how to get that golden opportunity back monetarily. But opportunity speaks of more than just the opportunity for money. It talks about a new opportunity in all life areas. But right now is not the right time, at least for the feminine. She shouldn't be waiting. She should be living her own life, because he's got a lot of stuff yet to do that he's resisting. Because with the Nine of Swords in reverse, it's talking about, an ending, needing to get to the root cause of a problem, trying to decide whether to stay or whether to leave. And sometimes it talks about being alone is preferable to being in an unhappy situation, so he needs to be honest. He has been deceiving himself for a while with regard to his karmic, and that she is in a reversed Virgo energy, which is the Hermit card in reverse, and that talks about not being honest with yourself and excuse me, filling time with social activities and things like that. So if you see them out and about, pictures on social media talking about how great or looking great together, whatever, out and about, it's really just a band-aid to try to avoid dealing with the fact that the relationship is over and neither one is satisfied and both of them have fulfilled their karma or just the purpose of coming together and they need to move on. But it is also disappointed. She's disappointed in the romantic situation, and it no longer fulfills her either, because this is the card that came out to clarify the Queen of Swords. And there's a need to move on, because I did pull some healing with the Fairies cards. It talks about sexuality and body movement. Actually, body movement came out, but then at the bottom of the deck was sexuality. My first instinct was that there isn't any body movement, so their sex life is not great, and that is a symptom of the fact that they know that they need to part ways, but that they're afraid to do so because their monetary situation and the comfort zone that they built with each other. But it's indicated, because their health is being affected, the masculines in particular, by the lack of body movement. And with the sexuality card, it talks about healing sexual issues within the relationship or just in general, and he can't do that with her because the love has gone and is going. So with the Six of Swords in reverse, yeah, that's a trip that has been delayed, or just, I took it as an inability to move forward to the feminine at this time, or an unwillingness, or again, this is just repeating and a validation, unable to move away from a troubling situation because of fear to take a leap of faith, and old ways are holding them back. Outdated attitudes, delays and obstacles, including input from other people, which we saw. So we actually had it come out like this. The Divine Masculine, represented by the Emperor, was flanked by a card about interference from other people and an inability to move away. So he's just worried about what other people are going to say when he wants to move away, or is he going to be a failure? He doesn't want to look like a failure, or that his marriage has failed. All of those ego reasons and concerns are holding him back and complicating his plans. So he's unhappy. He needs to make changes that awaken his heart and spirit to new possibilities. He came out right next to the Divine Feminine, his Empress, his counterpart, and she was clarified by the Queen of Cups. So she might be Libra, Taurus, or one of the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, but doesn't have to be. She has those aspects to her personality. He sees her this way in a highlight. She's insensitive. She's sensitive and intuitive and loving, and that's something that the air sign queen is not. No offense to air signs, that's just the card of the Queen of Swords is a harsher, colder energy than, say, like the water sign queen. So everybody has their strengths and everybody has their weaknesses. But with the Judgment card being here next to the Chariot, again, desired to move forward, but letting other people hold them back. But the Judgment and the Chariot are major arcanas, so those trump or override the desire to stay put due to fear. Because again, the cycle is complete. So regardless of what he wants to do and letting his fears get the better of him, their time together is over and it's time to start something new. He has fulfilled his journey with this person, and he wants to come towards the Queen of Cups, his Divine Feminine, but he is in reverse about it. He's showing up a very immature energy anyway, but at least he's showing up with a message or an offer. But there's pain resulting from an unhappy relationship, once again, or a family situation. And so he's feeling insecure, afraid to trust, unwilling to seek love because he wants to avoid more suffering. And it's also fear of rejection and a need to express his creative and intuitive nature, which, he would naturally have that with the intuitive water sign queen if he'd allow himself to. And he needs to withdraw from this fantasy world. He might feel unaccepted or unloved or can't trust anyone after going through this situation where he thought he had found the one or someone that he could build a life with, and following his old ways of thinking that got him into this marriage or relationship in the first place, only to find out that, damn, I'm not happy and it's not working and it's ending and I don't want it to because I'm afraid. That's going to do something to somebody's self-esteem, right? It makes sense. So he needs to take a long, hard look at the relationship, and he is taking that with a long, hard look at his feminine too. Because he is repeating patterns in childhood. Perhaps the feminine is too. She can look at that, but this is a reading about the masculine, and he may be repeating the pattern of heartbreak and betrayal rooted in childhood. And so this card can talk about, and I believe is talking about, opening your heart to the wrong person, or fantasized that a romantic fling is something more serious. So he took this, maybe they were a fling to start off with, and they ended up deciding for whatever reasons to solidify the relationship. And as I said, this looks like a marriage to me. So he took the chance on the wrong person, and now he's paying the price for it. So in his outcome, he is shown as the Knight of Cups while he was in reverse in his outcome. So he's moving forward in his energy, just in a weird kind of backwards kind of way because of everything that he's going through right now. But it's indecision and lack of commitment going forward, and immaturity about relationships in general due to broken promises or deceit, and not being based in reality. His views not being based in reality in the past with his karmic. And he's not someone, he's probably someone you want to avoid for a while after the karmic relationship ends. He's not what he seems, he's not himself. Even if his intentions were good with his feminine right out the bat, it wouldn't, even if his intentions were good, he wouldn't be able to fulfill his intentions or his promises. So, yeah, secrets and lies in a relationship. He will be very non-committal living. Yeah, non-committal. So, but with the Seven of Pentacles, little by little, he's going to come out of that energy. But what it's going to take is learning to collaborate again by putting down his enormous ego and getting that ego in check so that he can have the outcome of the Ace of Pentacles. But the Nine of Pentacles, actually that was the advice. He is advised to realize that he still has a lot to offer despite whatever issues that he's going through. And by doing that, he'll raise his self-esteem and heal himself from his childhood wounds and from the suffering he's endured in the relationship. And Nine of Pentacles was also the advice, but it came out in reverse. And that may mean, he dependence on someone else financially. So he's advised not to do that again. That's what he's done here. Regardless of whether he was the main breadwinner or she was, they've become codependent on one another financially. And so he's advised going forward not to let that happen again, so he doesn't end up in this Four of Coins in reverse. So he doesn't end up there again. Although his situation may be comfortable in the material sense, he felt trapped or bored. Yeah, so don't do that again. And you'd like to get away, spread your wings, but responsibilities hold you back. Perhaps you don't feel satisfied with your success, or you don't feel you deserve it. He's not going to feel satisfied or feel like he deserves his success, but his advice is to know that he does. And that necessarily, he doesn't need to be a sneak or a liar or a thief in order to get it, which is kind of like stealing when you get involved with someone and you steal their heart, and then you only do it for money reasons and not out of real love. That's like dishonest and sneakiness. So again, while the Seven of Swords can represent having faith and strategizing to get that money situation under control, it's also saying don't in the future do the same thing, being in a codependent relationship because of money reasons. It's very shallow. It's very egoic. It's very unevolved. And as you see, it didn't work out anyway because they're both going to be hurting, and they are hurting, the karmic and the masculine, and they'll continue to do so. And also, it's teaching them harsh lessons about what security really means. And it doesn't mean being in a codependent relationship for status or money reasons. And we know that the Emperor talks about relationships that are based in status, right? Or the appearance of. So his conservative attitude and limited visions has caused, stagnation in the situation right now. And as a result, he's going to, encounter obstacles and delays that keep him from moving ahead. And again, he just needs to make changes and stop clinging to old ideas and stop being afraid of risk and stop being afraid of losing control in his relationship, because it needs to happen because his karmic relationship is ending. And also when he gets with his feminine, she's not going to let him play control games because she's his match. And that's something that he's always feared. It probably kind of deterred him from her in the first place, that he couldn't control her like he can control the karmic. His sense of power will dwindle. He'll feel insecure. And again, the Four of Coins in reverse talks about depending on your partner for financial support and feeling trapped in a relationship. It's just a repeated theme throughout the reading. He needs to stop being in fear and stop being in ego and stop letting ego desires run his life and realize that love is more important than appearances, financial stability, and status. And that all he's done is prolong the suffering of both himself and another, and evidently friends and family as well. There are others who are involved affecting the situation, who are being put into this energy of overthinking, overworrying. They're witnessing this. He doesn't realize that they're witnessing this. He thinks that, or maybe he does, but whatever his ego is telling him about why he should stay in this relationship is counterproductive because he's not fooling anyone. So I think that is going to do it for the reading right now. So let me look at, we'll do the romance angels real quick. Like I said, try to pull a romance angel card for this reading before I started the video, and it wouldn't come out. So there's no romance here, evidently. But let's see if we can get some sort of insight, spirit, about this karmic relationship and just the divine masculine in general, the general collective that this reading is for. Is there any insight the romance angels can add to this reading for us, please? Is there anything we're missing or need to know regarding this divine masculine or this group of divine masculines? Yep. Okay. The retreat. It is time to disconnect from the world. So that came out upside down, and I think that that's the right way for it to come out, because it kind of goes with the, well, it does go very well with the Six of Swords in reverse. So they might be going on a retreat to try to heal the relationship, to recapture some of the romance, but it's not really working. It's not working. It's not going to go well. They're trying to disconnect from the world, but they can't outrun their problems, because how many times have we heard through this reading, how many times did it come out in different cards that they need to separate, they need to stop being together for the wrong reasons. And then Release Your Ex came out. It's time to clear energy. So this divine masculine needs to release his karmic. And at the bottom of the deck was Forgiving and Learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. That came out in reverse. I think there was a reason for that as well, because we had for the karmic, the Hermit in reverse. So she's not really forgiving and learning in the situation. So that's making it difficult for him to release her, because she is holding on to him and resistant as well. Although deep down she knows she needs to move forward too. The judgment call is in. They both had this wake-up call. And they both know what needs to happen. But they're just, she in particular is refusing to learn, and he's just scared of losing his cash cow. He's scared of losing the financial standing that he currently has. Maybe got his money and his finances tied up with hers, and this is going to be complicated to get out of, but it's going to happen. They've completed their contract. It's over. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and I hope you could relate to this reading, and if nothing resonated, I hope you find a reader whose readings do resonate with you. If you'd like to share your story in the comment section below, go ahead and do that. That would be nice. And if you would like to like, share, and subscribe and support the channel, I would appreciate it. Have a good night.